With the upcoming mobile game release calendar looking mighty dry, I felt like it was a perfect time to take a look back at 2023 thus far and share with you my top 10 favorite personal subjective mobile games released thus far. So let's go ahead and start off this top 10 list at number 11. Dude, FG line already. Yeah. Starting off at number 11, Watcher of Realms. Now, I really wanted to legitly put this game on the list, but since the developer don't care about rules, neither do I. Now, before I start throwing some shade, since this is a top 10 video, it's supposed to be positive, FG, dude, I know. So Watcher of Realms is a tower defense game, one of my favorite genres here on the mobile platform. This game sets itself apart with realistic fantasy vibes, all of your favorite aspects when it comes to a hero collector, you know, PvE, you got raids, you got guilds, you even have PvP, which is something you have never really seen in a tower defense game, and this game actually does a pretty decent job with it. But the reason why this game doesn't actually make my list, even though it's literally on my list right now in front of you, don't worry about that, it makes sense if you don't think about it. Now, the worst case scenario that I predicted in my first impressions video that I had no idea would only take a couple of weeks to come to fruition, dude, fruition, FG? Hey man, I'm on point today. So to keep this as simple as possible, on the event calendar for Friday, they had a rate up bonus for summons. So everybody who is everybody burned all of their currency on Friday because of course it's on the event calendar and it's a rate up. Why wouldn't you? Well, I'll tell you why you wouldn't. Out of nowhere, not listed on the event calendar, when they know good and well most of the player base had already burned all of their gems on Friday, they come out with an event where if you pull a legendary, you get a legendary for free. What? Now, during the recording of the video, the developer has since apologized, saying that they are listening to feedback and they take our opinions seriously. And I mean, come on, give Moonton some slack, baby. They've only been making gacha games since 2014. How could they have possibly knew that we get backlash from players for doing something like this? Boy, stop. You really believe that the executives over at Watcher of Realms were surprised on Sunday to see that people were upset about this? Do you really? Come on now. So with all that being said, I still think it's a fantastic game, but there are just so many other gacha games out there that why would I give my money and time to a developer who has already shown their hand, baby? Number 11, Watcher of Realms. Dude, the rest of these can't be that long. That's what she said. Number 10, King Arthur Legends Rise. Two back-to-back games on this list that both incorporate that realistic fantasy vibe. I really love this about King Arthur Legends Rise. Really awesome, like gritty character designs. Something that you feel like you would see if you actually lived in that time, which is gonna be a pro or a con depending on who you are. One of my favorite aspects of King Arthur Legends Rise is that I feel like this is a true technical thinking's man turn-based RPG. And the reason why I say that about this game is that there's so many turn-based mobile games where your turns really don't matter too much. Like you can basically auto through 99% of the content with no fear whatsoever. And yes, you can auto some content here in King Arthur, but there are just so many situations where you have to CC your enemy or purge debuffs or buff yourself or skip turns and like really think about your turns, because in this game, every single turn counts. This is not like, dude, I'm throwing so much shade today. It's not like Honkai Star Rail where you turn on autoplay and come back in 10 minutes. No. Most battles here in King Arthur Legends Rise are basically decided in the first few turns or so, right? Every single turn counts, and it just makes every single turn more meaningful in my opinion. Now, it's still not perfect just yet. It is in an Android soft launch, so there's still a lot more polish to be done. I really want to see more personality in these characters. Now, if you really want people to actually care about the King Arthur IP, you really have to formulate personalities in these characters. Because right now, at the moment, the only character that speaks is King Arthur, and his voice actor, dude, you gotta start breathing some life into these characters, because for a lot of us, this is our first interaction with the King Arthur's world. And the fact that 99% of the characters are mute, I think is a net negative on trying to give these characters life and personality. From a gameplay perspective, this game pretty much has it all. PvE, PvP, city building, single player RPG style gameplay tons of story, what seems to be shaping up to be an extremely robust guild system, some something that we haven't seen in such a long time, and a Steam client running on Unreal Engine 5 that looks incredible. So hopefully they can continue polishing the game because it does have a bright future, just not quite realized just yet, which is to be expected in a soft launch, right? Next up at number 9, and the very first idle game on the list is Eversole. Now when it comes to idle games, for the most part, they all kind of pretty much play the same. In my opinion, find an idle game that you like, that has characters that you want to collect, a daily gameplay loop that's not annoying, and a development team that seems like they actually care about you in some small way. Eversole ticks all of those boxes. Really awesome events, raids, a pretty consistent dopamine drip when it comes to just the sheer amount of summons and summon tickets you get every single week, and some sweet fan service. The only thing that I would add to this formula is a PC client. I felt like this game is a little sluggish on emulator. I mean, I don't really play idle games on my phone for the most part, so a PC client in this game I think would be a fantastic addition, but even as it is right now, definitely one of the best idle games released in 2023 thus far. At number 8, what I would consider the least popular game on this list is Unknown Nights. Part hero collector, part city builder, all wrapped up in a pixel world with some really awesome pixel-based characters. Once again, the dopamine drip that you expect from idle games, constant summons, lots of really fun weapons and abilities, voice acting on pixel characters, which is something you don't see too often. Just a really solid, like mid-tier gacha game that ticks all the boxes and is easily the best pixel art style gacha game of 2023 thus far. Unknown Nights at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Brown Dust 2, the closest thing we have to another Eden here in 2023. I mean, I guess you could go play another Eden. You know what I'm talking about. Now, what I'm about to say next is probably not a compliment per se. Dude, I guess this should have been a tier list or something. Brown Dust 2, in my opinion, is at its best when you're going through the single player campaign, enjoying the story, meeting the characters. This game at its worst is its daily gameplay loop. Like the daily gameplay loop of Brown Dust 2, in my opinion, even after the fixes, is atrocious. So it's a testament on how good the story campaign is for this game to be so high in my top 10 list with such a bad daily gameplay loop. Now, the reason why I try to draw comparisons to another Eden, this just might be one of those games where you just don't play for a few months and you only check in when there's a major story update. That's the way I'm gonna play the game. Once again, that might not be a compliment for the developers. They probably don't want players to play the game like that. And if everyone does play the game like that, it's probably not gonna be very long-lived. But I don't really like the daily gameplay loop in this game, but I absolutely love the characters. Dude, you wanna talk about fan service? Bruh, Brown Dust 2 got some fan service, you know what I'm saying? So overall, I'll still keep an eye on this game. If they can improve the daily gameplay loop outside of 40 auto-repeat PvPs and auto-hunting slimes for hours at a time, if they can improve that, maybe this is a game that I can recommend higher than it is. But for right now, I think Brown Dust 2 at number 7 is a perfect spot. Now, this is actually FG from the future gone back to the past. If you get to the end of the video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 6, Tower of God New World, my favorite idle game of 2023 thus far. It plays like any other idle game that you ever played in your entire life. It's based on an IP that I don't have a clue about, but that has not stopped me from enjoying my time from a Netmarble game. A Netmarble game. Now let's not get it twisted. It still has that level of Netmarble scummery, but it's in the background, right? So in the background, you got 3 monthly cards and you got 3 battle passes. Why, Netmarble? Why you need so much monthly income from us, Netmarble? Do you really? But if you look past that, this game, well optimized, fun daily gameplay loop. There's only one gameplay mode in this game that I'm not a particular fan of, but it does have skip battles and auto clear, so it's not too bad, and you only have to do it once every 2 days. I'll give it a slight pass, but just really a fun, chill, idle game that I'm looking forward to seeing what events look like, the next banners, the Alliance Wars. Like, I'm looking forward to more things in this game. So I think Tower of God New World might be in my rotation for the foreseeable future. Number 6, Tower of God. Now, speaking of games that have a fantastic story campaign, Harry Potter Magic Awakened at number 5. Dare I say it? I think I dare. This might be, in 2023, the best story presentation, aesthetic, quality, polished story presentation, I said that already, game of 2023. And yes, I know Honkai Star Rail exists. Like, the best way I can describe Harry Potter Magic Awakened is that the entire time I'm going through the story, I got this big, goofy smile on my face. Because the way the story is presented, it's like a Saturday morning cartoon with a Harry Potter skin, right? It's just like so much fun to see all of the trouble and the hijinks that these students get into as they're going through Hogwarts. Like, it's a ton of fun. It's such a solid, lighthearted, fun, coming to age. Like there's just so many positive aspects about this story. And like I said, I dared to say it, I'm saying it right now. It is by far the best story presentation in a gacha game in 2023. And once again, yes, I know Honkai Star Rail exists. I just really love this story, filled with fan service and Easter eggs. And it's just more interesting than generic anime game number 444. Once again, don't come for me. Now, the reason why I don't put this game higher on my personal list is that I still can't play the PC version here in the US, and combat is a big part of all of these games, right? And I don't think combat is very well handled on mobile. I'm always like struggling with the camera because every single attack in this game is basically a skill shot, right? So you're trying to like target your skill shot, you're trying to move your character around, and you're trying to move the camera around all on a mobile phone. It just doesn't really work super well. So I'm gonna be patiently waiting for this game to finally get its PC client here in the US, and I'm jumping right back into the Harry Potter Magic Awakened world here at number 5. Now, as much as I love the story and the presentation of Harry Potter Magic Awakened, certain aspects of the daily gameplay loop prevent it from being higher on my list. Dude, I ain't trying to dance every day. So with a much better daily gameplay loop, now with even more sweep action, is number 4, Snowbreak Containment Zone. So here's what you need to know about this game. Pretty much in a league of its own, it's a third-person, cover-based waifu shooter, dude, with bullet hell segments. So quite unique when it comes to mobile gacha games, am I right? Also quite unique when it comes to gacha games is that this game has an extremely responsive development team. Like, dude, the patches and the speed of the patches that have already been deployed in this game's very short life, dude, it just reminds me what is possible when a development team actually cares. And I think back to other games where I was like, dude, Arc Knights, can we get a little quality of life, baby? 10 years later. Bandai, can we get a little quality of life? No years later, because they still ain't done it. Right? Meanwhile, you have the Snowbreak team popping out patches with their quickness, trying to ensure that their game lives a long life. And I think they have a fantastic foundation. In the future, I want them to lean heavy on their co-op because that's something that is just super unique once again here in the mobile gaming world, right? Push the amount of players that you can co-op with beyond teams of 3, right? Like, at least get it to 5, maybe some competitive PvE gameplay modes. Like, dude, the future can be really bright with this game, and with the developer already showing how attentive they are, they just might have a long-term hit on their hands. So shout out to Snowbreak Containment Zone here at number 4. I feel like all the way up until this point, even if you don't agree with the games on my list, you're like, you know what? I can see it. I can see it. Well, time to change that, shall we? Number 3, Honkai Star Rail. Dude, I don't know what I'm thinking. I live in an apartment complex. I can't be yelling like that. Let's not get it twisted, right? When it comes to every single game released, probably since Genshin, Honkai Star Rail is one of the highest quality mobile hero collector gacha games of all time, right? The level of polish, the attention to detail, all of the tender love and care put into this game world, like the trash can stuff and all like the fun dialogue and the text messages and the links they go inside and outside of the game to really bring these characters to life. Like I always say this, if you want people to spend money in your banners, you gotta make them love characters beyond their stat sheet, beyond their meta. And Hoyoverse is the master at that. And the anime YouTube videos that accompany new characters and all of the cosplay that this world has spawned, like Honkai Star Rail is on another level, right? The story presentation is really good. I think Harry Potter's a little better, but it's extremely good. Much better than pretty much every gacha game on the planet. So why is it number 3, FG? Well, I just don't think that Honkai Star Rail is a great turn-based RPG on a technical level. And again, this is super subjective from a player that used Abundance Blessing when he did Simulated Universe. I just don't really like the turn-based, I don't really like the combat of Honkai Star Rail. I talked about this earlier in this video. I like my turn-based RPGs just to have higher stakes in my turn and more variety in what I can do. And I just feel like Honkai Star Rail was way too limited for its own good. I know exactly what they were trying to do. They didn't want their turn-based RPG to be super complicated. That way they can have the largest audience possible. Mission accomplished. But for people like me that just like a little bit more meat in their turn-based RPG, Honkai Star Rail just doesn't do it for me. And I think when it comes to their daily gameplay loop, even though it's extremely short, it's just really unrewarding. I remember multiple times I would log in, drain all of my stamina, look at my substats that all rolled wrong, and was like, all right, well, I literally accomplished nothing today. Why did I even log in? It was a lot of days like that that eventually pushed me away. But at the end of the day, even though this isn't my favorite game, I can't deny how high quality of an experience this is. If I had a friend that didn't play gacha games and never played turn-based RPGs, this would be the #1 game I would recommend. No other game on this list. If I had a fresh friend that never played a game like this, Honkai Star Rail will be #1 on that list. But it ain't #1 on this list. Surprising at least a handful of you guys out there. #2 on my list is Aether Gazer. Love this game, love this developer. You want to talk about one of the best optimized mobile games, right? This game has like non-existent loading times, a really easy daily gameplay loop, some of the best action RPG skill-based combat that exists on mobile. I know some people might say that's PGR, but a couple of things. PGR didn't come out in 2023, and what if you don't like Match 3? Gotcha, checkmate. From a proven well-liked publisher from YoStar, you can expect to just enjoy the game. You don't have to worry about drama from the developer or scummy tactics. The cash shop in this game is just so minimal. You have events that are layer upon layer upon layer deep, providing so many hours of gameplay if you want it, but if you don't want it, you can be in and out in like 5 minutes. Aether Gazer is my second favorite game of the year and easily the best action RPG, gacha, hero collector, waifu, fan service simulator of 2023. And just in case you're not old enough to remember the beginning of my video, a quick recap. #11, Watcher of Realms. #10, King Arthur Legends Rise. #9, Eversole. #8, Unknown Knights. #7, Brown Dust 2. #6, Tower of God: The New World. Oh, #5, Harry Potter Magic Awakened. #4, Snowbreak Containment Zone. #3, Honkai Star Rail. #2, Aether Gazer. And the #1 game on my list and my favorite mobile game new release of 2023 is Outer Plane. Yes, bootleg Epic 7, aka Epic 7 but with better characters. Yeah, I said it, but that could be argued. Epic 7 with just better voice acting. I ain't taking that argument. Outer Plane is the truth. Epic 7 with a better, more easily understandable daily gameplay loop. That sounds like a skill issue. Epic 7 with basically the same combat. Epic 7 that's just new and I don't feel left behind. That's what it really is, FG. Oh, I know. So that's it. My favorite game of 2023 thus far is Outer Plane. Hopefully you can find something that you enjoy on this list. Like I said, here in August, dude, there's like one high profile release and that's Dan Memo. So we're in for a little bit of a drought, but hopefully we have some new great games to add to the 2023 best of the year list a little bit later in the year. Once again, my name is FG, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Man, screw this game, dude. I hate Outer Plane. I'll never recommend this to nobody. Literally just out healed, dude. I just got completely just wiped. And I basically got perfect. I literally got perfect. Dude. This has never happened in the history of freaking gacha PvP games. Has anyone ever been perfect?